Welcome to the first episode of Defining Beauty. This is a new segment on the channel that I'll be trialing where I attempt to explore what makes a face attractive in the most objective way possible. By now many of you have been following the Instagram versus reality series and leaving comments to go more into how I know what to retouch to make someone look better. Now, beauty is a very touchy subject, and before I hear the beauty is in the eye of the beholder comments, I want to remind you that in the modeling industry there's a very specific look that they go for, that for the most part is considered attractive worldwide. This can be broken down by the science of
Physiognomy
and orthodontics. Now, with all that preamble aside, I just want to begin by saying that I'm not picking on anyone's looks throughout the series. In fact, in this video I'm going to be using my own photos, and I'm looking at facial aesthetic from a modeling perspective and what features they look for and what they reject. I'm going to begin with this. 3 photos. Think to yourself, which one is the most attractive? If you thought A or C, then you guessed alongside with the majority of test participants. The influence of different facial components on facial aesthetics from the European Orthodontics Journal is a great study into getting you thinking about what makes an attractive face. The second picture, B, has had his eyes digitally altered further apart, while the last photo has what we call negative canthal tilt. These are your canthals, and when they tilt upwards, your face takes on a droopy appearance. Too much of it and you turn into a Salvador Dali painting. As people age, this can happen naturally as fat moves around your face, stopping the skin support, or you can just be born with it. It's not a deal breaker in facial attractiveness as the research backs up, but the third canthal tilt photo has far more variance in the first test group and is considered less attractive in the second test group, meaning that it's for some and not for all. Positive canthal tilt, like in the first photo, is considered universally attractive and is what many people associate as making up part of the highly sought after hunter eye look. We'll go into what makes a desirable eye area in a future video, as this is meant to focus on cheekbones. I did a modelling shoot for a Sydney-based artist last year, and it involved fur and animal skulls, and explored the concept of shamans and witch doctors for a photography exhibition in Shanghai. Some of the photos I can't show without being striked on YouTube because just YouTube things, but I want to talk about this photo from the test shoots. It's very hard to get the unedited shots back from the photographer as they take offense to it for some reason. I got selected for the spot because apparently I had the right skin complexion and an androgynous look. After the shoot, I kept wondering why he said that. After speaking to other photographers, it turns out it's because of my cheekbones. Here's what I mean. This is male model Adam Lee. He is known for his androgynous/feminine look, which makes him stand out in the industry. High-set cheekbones are a very desirable trait in modeling as it makes you look more gaunt. Now hear me out. The higher and more prominent your cheekbones, the hollower your cheeks become, and more importantly, your OG curve becomes more defined. In modeling, the trend of sickly-looking men and women is as strong as ever, regardless of what body positivity would have you believe, and prominent cheekbones helps with the appearance of looking like a lifeless clothing hanger. In this photo, I wasn't 10% body fat and dehydrated before the shoot, so the editor made my OG curve more defined to make my cheekbones stand out and fit the ideal S shape. In doing so, it gives the false appearance of my cheekbones sticking out more than they actually are, and my cheeks are being hollower. It's like a V-taper for your face. There were smaller edits like removing baby hairs off my forehead and the darkening of highlights to make my cheeks pop, but none of these would have as much of an impact in my opinion as the change in the OG curve. This is the symmetry modeling would have you believe people are born with naturally, and they have this 24/7, when in actuality it's fake. Could it be achieved naturally? Yes, with heavy dieting and dehydration. Is it healthy? Absolutely not. Low-set cheekbones are not a deal breaker for facial aesthetics. Johnny Depp and Cara Delevingne have low-set but prominent cheekbones, which make them look more masculine. Higher cheekbones are associated with a more feminine, pretty look, like with DiCaprio, or the guy who played Merlin and left us on a cliffhanger season ending that I can never forgive. You can tell if you have high cheekbones by looking at how long your OG curve is. This is very unscientific, I know, but there's no set ratio. The length of the curve should be more than half the length of the mid-face. Here's a little test. Try to guess high or low. In the modeling industry, there's demand for both types, but there's a reason why the top paid models all have high cheekbones. People often incorrectly refer to this part as the cheekbone itself, when it's correctly called a zygomatic bone. What's actually a cheekbone is a combination of two pieces of bone called the zygoma and the maxilla. In Asia, zygos reduction surgery is hugely popular, especially in South Korea. This is because Asians have more brachycephalic features compared to Caucasians. In a 2014 experiment, New York researchers found that wider, more prominent cheekbones were determined to be more dominant in a fraction of a second upon seeing them. This is linked to what we call the facial width to height ratio, which is a measure from your zygos, the widest part of your face, and the eyelids to your top lip. Faces with similar width and height, so wider faces, are a strong indicator of higher testosterone levels, linked with aggression, assertiveness, and leadership. Subconsciously, in men, this is seen as attractive, and not so much in women. As women want longer, skinnier faces, like the top models, men want square faces, like their favorite G.I. Joe characters. If you're on the other side of the coin and want to make your cheekbones more prominent, it's best to first try by losing body fat before jumping to surgery. The cheekbones are the first to be covered by fat, especially if they weren't that prominent to begin with. Fillers and surgical implants do work, but more often than not, the surgeon won't share the same vision as you. Personally, cheekbone modification is unnecessary. It's an asset to have, but it's not the make or break in your facial aesthetic if you're lacking the jaw or the eyes. I hope you enjoyed this pilot episode for the series. I really enjoyed talking about this topic, so please do give me some feedback so that I can continue. I've barely scratched the surface, but next week I'm going to look into the importance of the eye area and how the surrounding bone impacts your look. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe, it really goes a long way, and this video takes a lot of time to research, so please take a look at the sources, they're really interesting studies. And lastly, some of you have been asking for my Instagram, so here it is. I'm going to be doing more day in the life type of edits, and as always, if you want to DM me about anything you want to talk about, then I'm always happy to answer. Faces with similar width and height, i.e. wider faces, are a stronger indicator